What's going on, YouTube? You're tuned in to the No Level Cap podcast. This week, we're taking a look back at Dragon Ball Z, the world's strongest.
Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the No Level Cap podcast with all your friendly neighborhood black nerds, where we cover all the anime, all the gaming, all the nerd culture with absolutely zero of the BS. Back with a new episode every Monday morning. I am your host, Sage Ashford. These are my co-hosts, Devin Butts and Terance Flowers. Like Terance said, this week we're talking about Dragon Ball Z, the world's strongest. It's fun. Like we did Dead Zone like a few months back,
It
right?
was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
crap.
checked it out, so yeah, it was 6 months ago.
Yeah, I thought we did it like in fall, but yeah. See, I mean, yeah. Well, actually, no, that's still like
it would have been the fall, yeah. We're in March
Okay,
now.
so I was, all right. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was fun going back and doing Dead Zone. So I thought at some point we should come back around to doing World's Strongest and potentially Trio of Might. And so, like, you know, we had some free time between all the gaming events, all the anime stuff. We do have to do April anime soon. So, I mean, like, obviously we'll be back to talking about other anime. And it had been a while since we talked about anime anyway. So it felt like, all right, man, we got to get some anime stuff up in here. So this was an interesting little review. I mean, this is an interesting little film directed by Daisuke Nishio, who's best known for his work on Dragon Ball Z. Like, he did all the early movies, all the Toonami movies, the ones that we most associate with Toonami. He did Dead Zone. He did The World's Strongest, obviously, and then he did Tree of Might. And he directed a good chunk of the TV series as well. Released March 10th, 1990, with a runtime of 58 minutes. The World's Strongest made 1.7 billion yen, which is basically like 11 million. It came out between episodes 39 and 40 of Dragon Ball Z, which puts it right at the tail end of the Saiyan saga and right before the Namek saga starts.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Came out in like 1998 in America. So when it started airing on Toonami and stuff. And man, they really did, just like Dead Zone. They aired this one until they couldn't air it no more. They aired the air out of it, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
I do like that this one was a lot longer, because I felt like the Dead Zone was like, what, 35 minutes or something like that?
I think it was, but like the runtime was like 40-ish
40
if you include the credits.
42 minutes with the credits. And it's like, that's not a real movie. Like, that's just an extended TV episode.
That's a true blue OVA.
Yes, it was an OVA that they aired theatrically. This, on the other hand, felt more like a proper movie, felt closer to a movie. Tree of Might is going to feel even more like that whenever we get to it, because it's like over an hour long. And I think eventually they just start doing like full-on movie-length stuff. Although it'll be a while, because Lord Slug is apparently just 52 minutes. So, but yeah, man, let's not waste no time. Let's get into it. Terance, what'd you think of The World's Strongest?
So this is one of those movies where you have to play the game of, is it as good as you remember? And
yeah,
I look back at our Dead Zone review, which if you're watching this and you haven't seen our Dead Zone review, you should totally go check that out. We've reviewed that, and we reviewed what was the latest Dragon Ball Z movie, the one that's in CG?
We did both. We did Dragon Ball Super. Wait, did we not do Broly? We just did Dragon Ball Superhero.
Superhero, that's
Superhero.
what it is. Dragon Ball Superhero. Yeah, so watch that one and watch our Dead Zone reviews if you have the time. I watched the Dead Zone review to see where I landed on that one so I could compare it to this one. And funny enough, in that review, I said that, the Dead Zone movie, it's nothing really to write home about, but I figured that World's Strongest and Tree of Might will be better in terms of their plot. I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. This movie is very straightforward, like plot wise, villain wise. Just I would say that in terms of villains, this has one of the most forgettable Dragon Ball villains in history. Like, there's nothing about what was my man's name, Dr. Urio,
Dr.
right?
Wheelo.
Dr. Wheelo, and then what's his subordinate?
Oh,
That's right?
Is that the dub name, Wheelo?
I mean, if you listen carefully, because like I thought, like if you listen to it, it sounds like he's saying Wheelo, but like the subs just write it as Riro, like Uito or something like that.
Yeah, because the subs had it, because I watched it in Japanese just because I just decided to watch it that way.
Same.
And yeah, they had it as Uero, so Uriro. So
Right.
I guess, I mean, whatever, Wheelo, Urio, however you want to call him, he's forgettable. It doesn't matter. Him and his assistant, they're just two mad scientists. That's all they are. They were just dudes who got trapped in pretty much the equivalent of the Arctic, and they didn't explain how his assistant survived. I mean, he was a robot. They showed him to be a robot at the end, but they kind of made it sound like both of them went down in the ice. So I don't know how the assistant per se survived. That wasn't explained unless I missed something.
No, and I mean, like, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what they were even working on in the first place. They just got down there.
My being on him.
My theory is that Dr. Wheelo had already replaced Coaching. Dr. Coaching. He replaced Dr. Coaching and turned him into a robot first, and then was like, hey, go ahead and turn me into this giant brain in a jar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe so. But
that's not confirmed. That's just my head.
Yeah, it's a theory.
Yeah, they really did not. They did not give them any kind of good backstory at all. They're pretty much just scientists who were doing mad scientist things. They got caught in the frozen in the Arctic, and the doctor's assistant, he somehow got all the Dragon Balls together, made his wish to bring back Dr. Wheelo, and Dr. Wheelo is looking for a new body.
Can I just say how trash Oolong is? Like, he's so garbage. And like, it was because they tried to set it like, it was like he forgot, like he was on the original hunt for the Dragon Balls. And it's like he forgot how they worked because he was sitting there looking at the Dragon Red. All like, oh, they got 5. Oh, they got 6. Oh, we ought to get a move on. And climbing slowly. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, man? It's like, once they get 7, they ain't got to take no break for no 2 or 3 weeks. Like, they can summon the dragon instantly. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, this movie, honestly,
how would they be finding them that fast? That's another question.
That is a good question. I mean, once again, that's one of those things that was not answered at all. At least this movie, in a lot of ways, it treads the same path that the Dead Zone treads, where you have a villain that acquires all the Dragon Balls. They actually get their wish. There's no like wasting any time in that regard. And from there, Goku and friends essentially have to square up with the villain to save the world, quote unquote. In this one, though, the biggest problem with this movie is there's really no imminent sense of danger. Like, Dr. Wheelo and his assistant, they're not really like a full-blown threat in the same way that Garlic Jr. was. Because like with Garlic Jr., I mean, he was squaring up with Piccolo and Goku, and shoot, he was putting in work against them. And when it looked like the tables had finally turned on them, you know, he opened up the Dead Zone, and there wasn't anything really that any of them could do without Gohan, you know, butting Garlic Jr. into the Dead Zone and shutting it down that way. So at least in that regard, there was a real threat. With this one, the main thing is that Dr. Wheelo just wanted Goku's body, but it never felt like he got close to getting it, really. Like, even in the end, when Goku launched the Kamehameha at him and it had him up in the sky, and it ended with the Spirit Bomb, it just never felt like, I never really felt like any of them were in any true sense of danger. Just me personally. And that's probably my biggest problem with this movie, is that it's just not really that memorable, in my opinion. Like, I feel like there's no moments from this movie that stand out in the Dragon Ball franchise. And it's funny because I remember like all the promos for this from back in the day. I remember the scene of Goku like slipping on the ice, him doing the Kaioken out of the frozen state. That was cool. I remember Dr. Wheelo, like him in the brain and everything. But other than that, like watching this movie again, I just didn't really feel any like real excitement from it. It's not a bad movie. It's just not, in my opinion, a memorable one. Like, it doesn't have a memorable villain. It doesn't really have any memorable fight scenes. It's just, I mean, it's fine. It's fine as it is. If I had to compare it to Dead Zone, I say Dead Zone is a step up from this. And I would like to think that Tree of Might is better than both of them, but it could once again be a case where if I actually watch it, it might not be as good as I remember. But I want to say I've seen Tree of Might at least within the past decade, and at least Turles is a far more interesting villain than both Garlic Jr. and Dr. Wheelo, even though he's just, a Goku clone. He's just evil Goku. That's all he is. But at least he's interesting in being an evil Goku.
Yeah, can become a giant gorilla.
There's not really much for me to say about this one. This is just one of those movies where if you take the nostalgia goggles off, or if you think about it as it was when you were a kid, you probably have a much higher view on it than if you were to watch it again. Me watching it again now in my 30s, yeah, I've seen better DBZ material. I'll put it that way. If I were to give this a rating, I feel like it's just average. It's like right in the middle. It's not a bad movie, but it's just not a memorable movie, which, it may be one of those things where that may be a greater sin, is not being memorable versus being bad. So I'd put it right at 5 out of 10. It's like right down the middle, not bad, not good. It's just fine.
Okay. I will say there was the danger was if he got Goku's body, his next plan was to make the world uninhabitable for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I thought that was very weird. I didn't understand. He was like, I'm going to take it out on these scientists. I'm like, no, you taking it out on the rest of the world. The scientists, nobody knows those scientists exist. And also, you've been gone for 50 years. All the people you're trying to get your revenge on are dead. They been gone, bro. You mad at ghosts. They
That's
already
the thing. Only Bulma knew him just through having read about him, I guess. And that's the only reason Bulma's in this movie, is to provide exposition. If she wasn't there, we wouldn't know who he was, who either of them were.
at all. It was wild. I guess there were other ways you could have done that, but yeah, it just showed Bulma just being like, hey, I remember I read about you, and he was like a cautionary tale, so I'll give him that. Devin, what'd you think of the film, man?
So this movie, I hadn't watched this movie in so long, but I do remember when I first watched it, I enjoyed it. I just remember all the marketing for it. So it has a special place in my heart. This is probably my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie. I really like the aesthetic of Dr. Wheelo for some reason, the brain, giant brain, like a giant mech. For some reason, that was just cool to me. It just seemed like this very especially when he broke out of the wall, this big giant thing, just this very overwhelming, this giant dude. He's super smart. He's got this. He called it what did he call it? This pitiful metal body or something. He's like, I'm gonna get my hands on Goku. So it does have a fond place in my heart. I will say Terance's sentiments of rewatching it is not as good. I do agree. As a kid, the 90s was the Dragon Ball Z era, so everything was just everybody hyped up on Dragon Ball Z. It's the best thing smoking. So the movies come out. Oh, we getting more. You watching the movies, and we got these different side villains. And I do agree with Say that's the first thing I want to cover, that Oolong is trash. I'm like, so you have a child out here with you finding Dragon Balls to make some dumb
some draws.
Wish.
And that's the thing. Why did he bring Gohan along with him? That was such a weird choice.
Why not Krillin? Krillin might have been more with this silly ass mission. I don't get it.
Well, he probably realized that, hey, if I bring Gohan, I at least have a chance of him getting mad and probably fixing whatever problem I got. Because that seemed to be Gohan's thing. I'm going to get mad and I'm going to do something that's going to be turn the tides. That was his thing as a child. The movies, Dead Zone, this movie, when Raditz showed up, it's every time he's get mad and that's my daddy, But yeah, just you got this child out here to make this dumb wish. And every time I keep seeing Shenron be summoned by some villains, I just have to ask the question, Shenron, I know you gotta have some authority, bro. You can't look at that dude. That man got one tooth, my guy. One tooth left. You should have.
We don't even
the fact
we don't even know what the wish was.
the fact that he didn't wish for a full set of teeth is like, hey, bro, you got one tooth. You sure you don't want to switch this? Nah, I want to bring my master back so we can die. Like, you ain't think like, man, I can't let this rock, man. He's like, you got it. Like, bro.
He said easily done.
Easily done.
Yeah, he just said, hey, that's simple.
Shinron does not care about who makes a wish from him. Like, he just be like, hey, buddy, like, you got the Dragon Balls? Because they go to all these different spots across the world. It's like, hey, man, if you was able to get them, I mean, like, yeah, I'll give you the wishes. Here you go. Man. Have fun.
It wasn't until, Daima, where he was like, I don't recognize you all. I ain't giving you
I like that. I like that. That's what I want.
You know what, though?
From now on.
That's not OG Shinron either.
Yeah, that is true.
That's Dende Shinron.
Yeah, because you know why? Because that one got fired. He's like, hey, bro, you done let too many people make wishes that look like they up to no good. You're out of here, brother.
Kami Shinron didn't care about none of that. He was like, hey, man, I either can do the wish, or in the case of Krillin, when he came up with the idea of just like, hey, man, just blow up the Saiyans before they get here, he either couldn't do the wish. That was it. That's all he had for you.
That was just my first thing to watch the movie. My first thought, man, they need to add the little security question to sitting around. Like, what was your mother's maiden name? What town were you born in? Like, before you get this wish or something, man. So that was just dumb. Of course, Chi-Chi out here thinking the Gohans. Man, that was so funny. Like, of course, we know Chi-Chi is like, her thing is she don't want Gohan to follow in her father's footsteps. She wants him to be a scholar, which he did accomplish. But it's just funny seeing him as a kid again. He went to sleep, had a dream about like learning, becoming a great scholar, and then his mom comes in, is like, "Oh, my son's he's gonna become a lazy delinquent." I'm like, just because he went to sleep, that's a big jump. My son studied and just took a little nap. Oh, he's gonna become a lazy delinquent. That's a
hey, man.
But I guess
was that musical sequence there in the dub?
I don't,
because I feel like I don't remember it from back in the day.
I don't remember that either, but that could just be one of those things where I just don't remember it as a kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those memorable parts.
All you people that's like, you can't call Piccolo Gohan's real dad, y'all in the gutter with this movie, because Gohan had a whole musical sequence singing about Piccolo.
I love Mr. Piccolo.
Yeah. You got Gohan singing songs about how he love another grown man. That don't sound like dad behavior to me.
I mean, they even showed the scene where Piccolo, went in front of him and took the beam.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this movie for me probably just mostly like the vibes of like the villain. Just his whole like, I'm trying to take over. The brain thing was just so like weird and like dark to me at that time as a child. But yeah, it doesn't hold up. Now, you got Timu Janimba and you got Timu Raccoon.
Man, look, let me say one thing real quick. That's another thing. In comparison to Dead Zone, these are like like you said, the Timu version of those villains from that movie. Like, at least those henchmen were memorable, despite like them having like the goofiest names and the goofiest attacks. At least
one of them niggas was named Cheese.
Yeah, at least they were like funny. These henchmen, they were just throwaway henchmen. Like I didn't care about them whatsoever.
Man, they said them names and I was like, I ain't even bother. I'm like, I don't know what y'all said. I'm just calling them Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's what I'm gonna call these three guys, because them names was wild. I'm like,
I done forgot their names already.
I totally forgot them. As soon as I saw the names, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna remember these.
I was like, these some crazy names. I mean, they were
Ebifuria, Misokatsu. I don't know, man. Like the Bioman. That's the name of them.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, with the Bioman. That's it.
That's all I got for you.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I remember I did like the fight between him and the Timu Janimba. I do remember the scene where Goku like went through him and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm stretchable," and he's Goku like, "You ain't stretchable enough. I'm about to hit you with my son's special technique. Just go right through you." Well, no, that's Goku's, because he did that against Piccolo. So I guess he started it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scene with the Kaioken was probably one of my favorite scenes. Just him doing that again, because at the time Kaioken, when he first did it against Vegeta, like, oh my god, this was so that was still a thing that was kind of pulling on your heartstrings. Like, oh man, he's about to do Kaioken again, or in the UK dub, Kamehameha, which is funny because some of the most this movie was some of the most referenced in the UK dub, some of the most classic scenes. Specifically the one he does Kaioken. I don't know why they translated that as Kamehameha. It's the most funniest.
Everything he did was a Kamehameha.
Kamehameha. And for some reason, Super Saiyan was Kaioken. I'm like, I think it was, or it might have been Kamehameha as well.
No, I think you're right. It was Kaioken. They didn't give a damn.
Krillin intro was so funny. Like, well, first off, the fact that Gohan.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about Krillin for a second.
Oh boy.
Because when I was a kid, I hated Krillin. I thought he was just like the biggest fucking loser. Like, and when I say kid, okay, for context, when Dragon Ball Z first came to America, there was no Dragon Ball. Like, we didn't get Dragon Ball till like years later.
Yeah.
Like, when it first came over, it was like 97, 98. When it started airing on Toonami, it was just Dragon Ball Z. We didn't know nothing else. We didn't even know it was a Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball didn't come over until like 3 or 4 years later.
Like the early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah. By the time Dragon Ball came over here, we had already seen up to the Cell Saga. We hadn't seen none of the other shit. So I say that to say this. We didn't know that there was a point where Krillin was cold. We didn't know there was a point where Krillin was a legit rival to Goku at the time. And so I used to wonder, like, I used to hate Krillin so much and was like, why is this fucking loser around? Like, all he do is get bitched. And I'm seeing now, like, why I thought that back in the day, because I had forgotten. I haven't seen Dragon Ball a lot. You forget. Now I'm watching. I'm like, oh, that's why, because they hold this man throughout the whole movie.
Man, that scene
he
where
couldn't get one cool moment.
That scene where toward the end where Gohan and Piccolo they're scoring up against Dr. Uryu.
They got their attacks off.
They got their hits off. Krillin come in, did the little flip, and he's like, "Hey!" And Dr. was like, "Psh." He specifically said, "Why just me?
Why is it always me?
Why just me?"
I'm like, it's I don't know. I hate to see it because I do like Krillin's character. He's actually one of my favorite characters. I just like Krillin. He got one of the best moves in Dragon Ball Z universe. It's just that this on one of the weakest characters. Yeah, you know.
You got to the Cell Saga and Cell just tanked it. I'm like, in the manga, by the way, Cell never tanked the Destructo Disc. So like that was just some anime shit they just did to make Krillin look even worse for some reason.
I mean, he also got his move took by people because Frieza took it and used it. And I was like, but yeah, Krillin, his intro line was just so funny. Like he was like, "Why didn't you tell me, Goku?" And Goku was like, "You know why I didn't tell you, bro. Like, come on, man." But before we get to that, Gohan wants to go help his dad, and Chi-Chi's like, "Nope, you're not going." So he just goes off, you know. And I was
like, he can drive, I guess, or fly.
Yeah, he flew.
Like he flew the craft, which I guess he just knows how to do.
I want to come back to this for just a second. The part where Dr. Wheelo's castle rises up out of the ice and shit, and Oolong and Krillin both catch it, and Oolong like, shit, I can't fight. I need to get the fuck out of here. And Gohan's like, where's the entrance? And he tries to like leave, and Oolong leaves, and Gohan tries to follow him, and then immediately some of them, whatever them things are, just like spring up out of the ground and jump the fuck out of Gohan.
Oh, the team is like,
man, they beat the fuck out of him.
They hit him with what's that? Was it Justice League Dark Side? Is that what that movie? The movie where Green Lantern says, "Peep the light show." Green Lantern's got this, and he hits Dark Side, and like Dark Side just smacks him away, and then Dark Side's henchmen just started beating.
He got hit with that JoJo season 5.
I'm like, good God, they stomping this poor kid out. Keep in mind, he's like 6 or 7, and they just stomping the fuck out of him. I'm like, good God.
Oh,
they don't care.
I will say that scene was funny. That was a very funny scene.
Like, I was just like, I was just that was hilarious. I'm just like, I mean, it was immediate, and it's just like then Piccolo show up. I was just like, man, like, I feel like part of Dragon Ball Z is just making some characters just take the short end of the stick. Piccolo come out,
Piccolo showed up, got the aura farm for like 3 seconds.
For 3 seconds, and then he's got, like, yo.
Wasn't it like that in Dead Zone where he was aura farming and then they?
I'm convinced that Dragon Ball Z. This is 2 things Dragon Ball Z is about. They're gonna do some assimilation, meaning that I'm gonna absorb you, or I'm taking something of yours. So what that you got is mine. Yours is mine. I mean, yours is mine, and mine is mine. Because I'm taking what you got. That's Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell. Every villain just about as like, some clone. We got 2 versions of Goku. We had Turles, basically Goku, look like Goku. Then we got Goku Black. They gonna do some assimilation. Hey, I'm gonna absorb you, have Cell. I'm gonna take your powers some way, somehow. And this was no different. Dr. Wheelo wanted to take Goku's body. I'm like, man, that's what they wanted. But the part where Gohan leaves, I'm just, man, it'd be funny if they had like Eminem song playing in the little ship. He's like, I'm sorry, mama. I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to make you cry, but today I'm going to help my daddy. Like, just, like she didn't want him to leave. It's like, that's my daddy. So it's just fun seeing it. And then like all these years later, we've seen Gohan grow up into an adult and got his own family. You know, we see him in the superhero movie. He's like, he's a scholar. He's making good money. And you know, his child gets taken away, and he's like, all right, it's time for me to kind of tap back into what I used to be. Leading to him getting a new form. So it's just funny seeing like Gohan as a child. I got some more notes. Terance already covered the whole thing when Gohan and Piccolo's like got a lick in. Piccolo's like, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna follow suit and just get smacked. I'm like, come on, bro, you could have let him get one hit, bro.
Man, that part where Krillin and Gohan showed up trying to save Goku, and they tried to aura farm for like a second and a half, and immediately they got hit with them whips and turned into Gohan sickle and Krillin sickle. I'm like, all right, man.
Yep.
Honestly, this movie was even more of a Goku show than Dead Zone.
How would they breathe in space? Another question.
You know what? The movies always.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, that Terance got the real answer. Say it again.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Well, I was gonna go the more logical thing where I think they were at like enough of an atmosphere where they could still breathe, but not quite the outer layer of Earth.
That's what I was thinking too. But I mean, like at the very least, Krillin just human. I still don't think he would be able to breathe at that height. Like,
I mean, you know, they're not supposed to, but also the movies always took that for granted. Like they would always like all the filler stuff always took for granted what the humans and Saiyans could do. Like if you remember the filler with Dragon Ball Z, like when they first introduced Vegeta, he like blew up a planet like right after his first appearance. He didn't have enough strength to do that. And he was out in space when he did it. Like it was like when they went to that one bug planet and then like they got fed up. They like saved the planet. And then Vegeta was like, man, I don't save shit. And then he got out of his spaceship and looked down there and blew it up. I mean, like they've always been kind of iffy with like what the filler allows the characters to do.
I also think that like since this took place after the Saiyan saga, at that point, they all were kind of like in their own realm of like superhuman to a degree. Like, you know, before the Saiyan saga, they were all still kind of normal for Dragon Ball. I'll put it that way. But after Saiyan saga, everybody's just a superhero.
Yep.
Yeah, except for a handful of people. Because like I said about how certain people, I never forget what they did to TN in the Buu saga. That man came out there clean with the new fit, just off the rack, starched in iron. They pan from his feet to his head. He formed like a king and immediately got beat to sleep. I said, Toriyama, please, why you do to me like that?
Well,
man?
He was the only human strong enough to actually go fight Buu. All the rest of them couldn't do none of that.
You mean by fight? You mean his fist meets Boo's fist meet his face?
He got an energy blast off, if I remember correctly, and he saved Gohan from getting beat up some more. That's what happened, and then he got beat up.
I mean, I guess that's right. I guess saving somebody else from getting beat up by getting beat up in their stead, as I guess say. Yeah, I think I covered most of the stuff that I put down on the paper, but I just thought it was funny, like the whole thing of Chi-Chi like wanting her son to be a scholar and like, you know, focus on his studies, and just every time and get, you know, his dad got it really his dad this time, because like he didn't have nothing to do with that. That was really their fault. Well, it wasn't their fault, but they was there initially. Gohan and Oolong. Also Master Roshi, like the fact that he called him a martial arts master, and then Bulma's like, oh no, he's just a dirty old man. I was like,
the part that got me was that Bulma had to start snitching. He ain't been the strongest in 50 years. You know, it's Goku that's the strongest. So I'm like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
This ain't about funny. You. Like, why are you telling?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, why would you like give that information up? And then she was like, "Well, why am I here?" I'm thinking like, because you're like Capsule Corp's daughter, like you're like part of that. Like,
well,
you
she was a
made
hostage, really.
That too,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he probably knew that she. Well,
They didn't
No,
bring
he
that
didn't
up.
Made the,
Like
It was
honestly,
just that she was a
Okay.
hostage.
honestly, I think that would have made the plot better.
More sense, yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
here's the thing with Dead Zone, at least you have Garlic Jr.'s connection to Kami and the Namekians and everything. With this movie, the villains have no connection whatsoever to any of the Z fighters. Had they at least made it where maybe like Bulma's family, like the Briefs, if they knew Dr. Urio and his assistant, if they knew them from the past and maybe it had like some clashings or something like that, then it would have made more sense for Bulma to be involved, and it would have, I think, tied everything in together better. But them just being some random villains that just show up, it just doesn't work in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or doesn't work as well, I'll say.
It wouldn't have made sense because he already somehow was able to find a Dragon Ball super efficiently. So at that point, he don't even need a Dragon Radar, which is still a question. Like, how was he finding them that fast? But
I mean, you know, that was just like good. It became clear in the Namek saga that all you needed was just somebody with some good tech to find the Dragon Balls. Like, it's actually not that hard. Bulma is just the first person on their planet, like, because she's the only scientist worth the fuck that's not part of the Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it was a nice little blast to the past watching this film. I still just looking at like the OG Dragon Ball Z animation. I just still, that has a fond place in my heart. But yeah, I would give this like maybe a 6 for me. Like I said, it's still pulled on some nostalgic heartstrings, but it's not the best movie. I do like that it's longer than Dead Zone. But yeah, like, and like I said, I still think that like the whole giant brain and a big mech thing is kind of cool to me. But yeah, it really wasn't much because like Dr. Willow was just, everything he was saying was like, yes, get on with it, because he didn't care about that assistant at all. He just, that dude, when he popped out and stepped down, that dude fell down. He's like, whatever.
More than that, he fried that assistant.
Yeah,
Dr. Kochi, he fried that nigga because he was like, "Hold on, Dr. Willow, wait," and then like some electricity came out and just turned it, like, first it fried him so that all that was left was like the robotic shell. Then he fried the shell and the shell blew up. I'm like, God, dog, like, you didn't care about him at all.
Like I said, it was nice watching this again. It's been years, but you know, maybe we watch Tria Might, maybe it'll be a little better. Hopefully.
I doubt it.
I'm not even going to make any promises.
One more thing. Another one of the classic UK dub scenes when he did Spirit Bomb. That scene where he got his eye kind of half open. He's like, "You have to help me." I was like, "Oh, that's the scene." I was like, "Oh, okay. I've seen this scene." I don't know.
Is that one from World's Strongest or is that from?
Yes, that's from this. Oh. You have to help me. He's like, "Everybody give me." That was this. I was like, wow.
I'll say that I think that there's a better movie in this than what we got. Like, there's the bones of a good movie, but it feels like it wasn't long enough and they didn't spend enough time developing it. It's almost like this was like the first draft of a really good movie, like, or like a good movie. I won't say a really good movie. But I will say, like, there are a lot of like funny moments to this film, which is what really carried it. Because I remember. What I remember is that I used to think Dragon Ball Z had more lore to it than what it really had. And a lot of that came from like the movies. Like, you watch the movies and the filler, and they would make it feel like a more populated, interesting universe than what actually is there in the manga. Like, the manga is very like centered around the adventures of Goku and his friends, and there's nothing else, as opposed to like the filler, which would give you like these whole other planets. And like this, which indicates that there are other like scientists doing all types of crazy stuff and shit. And so like there's a really strong science fiction element that you got with the Saiyan saga and the Namekian saga. But like movies like this and then Tree of Might kind of lend itself to even more of a science fiction type vibe, which I dig. I like that part a lot.
I did like that. Yeah.
I do also agree that Dr. Wheeler had like the dumbest plan possible. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take somebody else's body and get my revenge." I'm like, for what? Like, if you strong enough to do all of this, you don't need nobody else's body. And at one point, he called his own body like ugly and disgusting. And I'm like, What you trying to pick up some chicks? Like, is that what it is? Like, what's the answer here? Like, what do you like? Why'd you put yourself in this robot body if you could have? I don't know. And then like the whole thing where Dr. Cochin was like, "Look at this amazing world we're about to create," and then he showed like a former forest that they had completely turned into like a desert, like this desolate, terrible like scene out of Fist of the North Star. I'm like, once again, y'all got the worst plan possible. Like, what's the point of this? Like, why are you trying to wipe out, like, destroy the planet and make it look like and then he was like, we're going to rule over it. I'm like, you going to be ruling over a pile of ash? Like, what's the goal? Like, what's going on?
I think he said, I remember he said, like, I think I remember him saying, like, well, he said, well, if we do all this for all the world, there'll be nobody to fear us. So he's like, so if we got to do this, we'll do this. But he's like, we ain't going to do all of it. Just showing you what we can do. I'm like, that's still kind of like.
Devin, you watching the dub or the sub?
I watched the dub.
He didn't say that in the sub. He just said we was just gonna take over that bitch.
Okay.
We gonna reduce it to nothing and then we go rule over it. And I'm like,
I was like
ain't gonna be nothing left.
You do bring up a good point, Sage, that he didn't really need Goku's body because, Goku, he couldn't beat him without the spirit bomb. And I mean, yeah, as he was, he could have done enough damage to the Earth. He could have done enough damage to the Earth just as he was. He really didn't need, unless he just felt like he wanted not a robotic body, which I mean, that's one thing to want that.
He did insult his own body, and it was kind of implied that he like regretted doing what he did to survive, I guess. But I feel like that wasn't focused on enough compared to like the rest of the film. So
yeah, I feel like in terms of body swapping, the Ginyu Force arc does this much better.
I forgot about Ginyu.
Absolutely. In fact, there's a part where Bulma directly asked Dr. Wheeler like why he would even bother wanting to go on when he should have aged out and died a long time ago, which actually is hilarious when you like in Superhero, you find out she regularly wishes on the Dragon Balls to make herself younger. It's like, really? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's like was that Dragon Ball? Was that Superhero or was that the Broly movie?
I was Superhero.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was Super. Pretty much in Super, they established that Bulma just be using the Dragon Balls just wasting the Dragon Balls on vanity wishes. Yeah, exactly. Which at that point, I feel like because Dragon Ball as a franchise has become such a meme over the years, I feel like the people writing it now kind of lean more into the meminess side of it as opposed to taking it seriously. Yeah, they're self-aware. Yeah. Exactly.
There's one part where Gohan snaps out. The first time Gohan snaps out, and immediately, because it was like he had revealed he had taken control of Piccolo, and then like Gohan tried to stop him, and then Piccolo had the meanest backhand possible and knocked the crap out of Gohan. And the whole time Gohan's like, hold on, wait, please, don't fight my dad. And you know what? Like, that's one thing that they kind of messed up, I think. Instead of having them generic characters that y'all was talking about, it should have just been Piccolo as the main villain, like the main body for Dr. Wheelo, so that we could just see a bunch of fights between Goku and Piccolo. But instead, we only got like a little bit of a tease of it. I'm like, man, that's a waste. Also,
they should have probably done like more. Like he probably could have found like maybe, I don't know, 10 and Yamcha had like you fight three of your teammates mind control. Like
that would have been cold too. Also, there's a point in that, like right as like Piccolo and Piccolo and Goku start to fight, where Krillin like looks at both of them, and he keep going back and forth, and then finally he like screamed and jumped and got on the ground, and I'm like, you were never in the way of this fight, big dog. Like you didn't have to. You could have just stayed where you was at. Like what did you do that for? Like what's going on? Like why did they make you into such a weakling? Like when you was really getting down in Dragon Ball and you was a fighter and throughout all of Dragon Ball, and now you just a comedic relief character. It's like, dang, man, they really hold you. But yeah, there's that part where Gohan snaps out and Dr. Wheelo immediately it's like, all right, leave that little guy alone. And for whatever reason, Dr. Cochin just decided he had jokes. He was like, what's this little brat gonna do? And then Gohan just continued to look angry. And Dr. Wheeler was like, hey, man, leave that kid alone before something silly happened. And then like for whatever reason, Dr. Kochi, he just kept going. He's like, take your little ass home and suck your mama's titty. And I'm like, hold on. First off, Gohan is like 6 or 7. So if he did that right now, that'd be a different problem. So
He did say that.
like what? He just kept fucking with Gohan until Gohan finally blacked out. And that's what destroyed the mind control thing. I'm like, okay. So it's like Devin said, like that's basically Gohan's only purpose is to black out. And his rage came out and like gave him superpowers or whatever. And you know what? They really should have did more with that by the end of Dragon Ball. Like he really should have they should have just let him take over and be the main character. But
I agree.
I mean, we all have said that at the end of this. I mean, they set it up themselves. The end of the Cell saga, Gohan is the protagonist at that point. But you know, we know it's ultimately the Goku show, so they had to bring him back in the Buu saga, and we are where we are now.
Yep. There's one part where Gohan also like Krillin got knocked out. Like there's that part where he just decided to rush in. Like he was just going off full rage and decided to attack Dr. Wheelo after he got his body. Bro went full on Leroy Jenkins and just got knocked clean the fuck out. I was like, oh my God. Like nobody in this movie gets to look cool other than Goku. Even the triple Kamehameha blast, that was kind of cool. And I wish that had been the last scene, the last part of the fight. And then that just was the thing that killed Dr. Willow. Because it was just a cool moment just to see all of them be like, yeah, Kamehameha, get out of here. But what's up?
That is one thing is that I wish they had done a little bit more Master Roshi. Because that is one of the things that I remembered from this movie, from when the promos, is Master Roshi having that fight scene with the Bioman. And it looks so cool in the promos. But watching it in the actual movie again, it's such a brief moment that he doesn't really get as much time from it as I thought he did. And like you said, the whole little turtle family of Kamehameha, that was a cool moment, but it was kind of cut short and didn't really mean much as what it should have.
Yeah, and the fact that it did no damage also, I'm like, all right, come on now. Like you got 3 people shooting a Kamehameha and it did no damage. That's almost like you set up like,
if you think about it from the perspective of what did take out Dr. Wheelo, it's like, if you think about power levels, like Goku was probably, he had to use Kaioken times 4 just to get Dr. Wheelo into space. So he was probably stronger than all of them put together without the Kaioken.
Yeah.
And so I guess that kind of makes sense, but it just would have been a cooler visual if it had just been the Turtle Family Kamehameha.
That's one, like you just set that up like, oh man, because even the way like they said like Master Roshi, he called it out first, like he's like Kamehameha, and then they just like, I'm like, that's kind of cool, like he just called out, cool. Then they went in unison, and he's like, oh, it did super ineffective. I'm like, come on, bro, done something, left a crack or something.
Worse that Piccolo tried the classic Vegeta move, since Vegeta ain't in the movie yet, and tried to take Dr. Wheelo out with the spamming energy beam shit. That of course didn't work either. He just got knocked around. I'm like, oh man, everybody in this movie is forced to look whack just to make Goku look cool. I will say one thing, and this is what I mean. I like at the beginning of my review, I said that there was the bones of a good movie in here, but it wasn't really like they didn't flesh it out enough. Understated in the film is how Dr. Wheelo wasn't just a threat to Goku, but to the Earth as a whole. Like him talking about how he was going to use his technology to reduce the Earth to a cinder as revenge for what the scientific community had done to him. And so Goku summons the Spirit Bomb with the power of the Earth, and the Earth technically defends itself with its own strength to take out Dr. Wheelo. And I thought that was a cool moment. And if they had focused on that a little more and talked about the technology and how it had made, like it just kind of, they glossed over it in a way where if they had dug deeper into it, you could have got a better movie, like a stronger film. Now, having said all of that, it's been so long since I had watched this film that I really forgot what kid me thought of it. And it's still pretty hard. Like, I don't really remember what kid me thought of it, but I did rate this on my anime list back in like 2007.
Oh, wow.
Which I know, right? I would have been like 19. And so like that 19-year-old me definitely remember what kid me thought of it. And he gave it a 5. He was like, yeah, let's get this average ass movie the fuck on out of here. So I'm going to go with 19-year-old Sage and say it's a 5, man. Like, I kind of lean more towards Devin than Terance in that I guess it's like a 6, but like if I'm really being honest, it probably is because there's nothing. There's no one great moment in here. The one great moment that it could have had would have been the Turtle Family Kamehameha wave, and then they fucked that up. So, other than that, it's just like a couple of cool like hand-to-hand fight scenes, like Goku. I guess that is the story of this movie. Now that I think about it, all the cool moments are cut a little shorter than they should have been. And that's what stops this movie from having any one standout moment. Like the Turtle Family Kamehameha wave is cut short. The Goku versus Piccolo fight is cut short. And so it's in any moment where like the other characters could have looked cool, because you could have easily had Krillin and Gohan fight those other Biomen for like a one-on-one fight, and that would have been cool. And they cut that short. And so it's just like, oh, okay, what is it? What without all of that, with everything that's cool cut short, it's just a cut short ass movie. So,
because did Goku take out all three of them?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure I remember that correctly.
Because of course he like flew through the big dude, Devin called him knockoff Janemba.
Yeah,
he flew through that dude, and then he deflated. And then later he was fighting the other two dudes. The one dude that had like the electric whips, and then the guy that had like the ice Kamehameha wave, basically. And what wound up happening was that they hit him with both of those attacks at the same time and kind of froze most of him. And then Gohan and Krillin showed up to save him.
Yeah.
But like they fucking failed immediately. And then watching them get frozen solid, he like snapped out, used the Kaioken, broke out, and then killed both of them pretty easily, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because even in Dead Zone, Goku didn't take out all the villain. Like, he didn't Piccolo. Yeah, that's
separate fight.
Yeah. I thought I remember that correctly. Yeah. So I feel like they really hold everybody in this movie. They just made it the Goku show.
Now that you mention it, even Garlic Jr., when it came down to it, it was Goku and Piccolo that had to work together to beat up Garlic Jr. and get him out of there. So you're right.
Yeah, and even when Garlic Jr. summoned the Dead Zone, there was nothing that either of them could do. Without Gohan, they all would have lost. So that movie, it felt like everybody in their own way got their moments, whereas this one, it was just the Goku show.
Except Krillin. All Krillin got was he got hit with some rock. That was it. But everybody else, you're right. They did get their own moment.
Now,
what was you about to say, Devin?
I wonder how all of our scores changed when we watched the UK dub version. Because you remember that when he went Cal King, you remember what he said? He said, "I want to have total power." That's total power, man.
I hate that stupid ass dub. If I had to sit through that dumb ass dub, that's a dub that's fun for like clips. But if I had to watch the whole thing, I'd be like, man, throw this movie out, bro. I'd have gave it a 2.
I don't know. Maybe that's something we should think about doing at some point, is reacting to clips from the UK dubs.
Man. I'd definitely be down for that, because the first time I found that, I was crying, man.
I remember in college, I think you, me, I know a couple of other friends, we watched the UK dub on YouTube, and man, we were crying laughing, because it was like, wow, this is truly something.
Oh yeah, the legendary Big Green.
Green.
Let that child alone.
Let that child alone. Yeah, you got it. Oh my God. All right, I think that's gonna wrap this week up. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to our retro review of Dragon Ball Z Movie 2, The World's Strongest. Let us know what you thought of it. If you're new to us and like this episode, I need you to do me a couple of favors. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe, tell your friends about us, and do me a personal favor. Have an excellent week. Peace.
You have to help me.